All right, what's going on, guys? Taylor here. I'm with my buddy Thomas. You might know him on Twitter as MrFutago87, and we're just going to have a little chat about Final Fantasy 15. They put out a demo, some demo footage from what's upcoming with episode Duskai, so we just want to have a little discussion about that and just the game in general and some speculation. So Thomas, they put out the demo footage this week. So what were some of the things that they showed? Because I know you probably know a little bit more about it than I did.
Yeah, I watched the entire thing, and just real quick, I am German, so I may have a bit of a problem pronouncing things and stuff. So
No worries.
on that one. Yeah, I watched the whole 40 minutes. I think it was like 43 minutes of demo gameplay, and they showed actually quite a bit of stuff, like the size of the map itself. We were shown just how big the demo itself would be, some gameplay stuff, some combat stuff, some exploration stuff, some side quests that you could do. The camping was shown, the day and night cycle was shown, and stuff that will happen during the night.
Okay.
And what else was there? Yeah, like some finer details on the combat. It's the first time we actually saw some really more more combat with some substance to it. Let's just say that. So yeah, there's quite a bit to talk about of the demo itself. Though I might warn you, this might go into spoilers then about the demo itself, just to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing they showed was a short bit of tutorial, just to show the control scheme and stuff, what your buttons will do. That's the thing you saw too, right?
Yeah, that's what I saw. The one, I think most of it was pretty standard stuff, like, you hold the left stick to run. There's actually a jump button, which I'm excited about. It gives you kind of a different level of exploration. You can actually climb up stuff. The one thing that was kind of unclear was that triangle, at least for PlayStation, is like some kind of like special move or something like that, because square is when you just sort of mash at it, and then circle was like the teleporting sword, and then triangle was like you can jump in the air and stab him or do some kind of team up move. Is that what that was for?
Yeah, kind of. What it does is, in the lower left of the screen, you have some special attacks and stuff, and special moves that you can cycle through with, like, I think left and right on the D-pad. And this decides what kind of attack you're doing with the triangle button. Most of these are dedicated to the weapons that you are having equipped. Like you had a longsword, like a normal longsword, that just did like a short stabbing move that actually did quite a bit of damage. Then there was like the dragoon jump when you had the spear equipped.
Mm-hmm.
And then the broadsword, like Noctis had like a really big broadsword, which was like a round about attack, like he was spinning around and attacking like multiple enemies at once, like some sort of AoE attack, like just spinning around with this giant sword around him. And I think there's some more stuff going on. There was also like a super mode, if you can call it that like continuously drained your MP meter, which kind of made Noctis attack with all swords at once.
Oh yeah, sure. Maybe it was like a limit break. Maybe that's what this game's version of a limit break is or something.
Maybe, yeah. It kind of looked like it. It looked really cool. Like he was not holding the weapons in his hand, but just summoning them and like just ordering them to fly at the enemy, basically. But that drained his MP meter rather rapidly.
Okay. And by the way, I'll say just real quick for anybody watching, I'll leave the link to the demo footage if you want to like see what we're talking about in the description. So definitely go check that out if you haven't already. And
you can get a really good view on what the demo will have to offer.
Absolutely.
But quite a bit, like the basics of the demo and the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what basically was what the triangle button does.
Okay. And then I didn't see any of the camping. I saw they did quite a bit of combat when they were fighting the gorillas and just kind of walking around and checking stuff out. The combat looks super fun. It looks very action oriented. I like how you can teleport to an enemy if like you see one of your comrades is sort of in trouble, so you can just like zoom across the map really fast. And one thing I noticed is maybe it wasn't explained very well, but it didn't look like you could use items, or if they used them super quick, because like if there were times when like your one of the guys was like hurt or down, and then you just come over to him and like touch him or something, and then he would get back up. So did you?
He goes down. Apparently, when his HP hit 0, you can just go over and pat him on the back or something, just heal him. But you can actually use items in the menu.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I remember them doing that once or twice. Yeah. Okay.
It's basically like, apparently from what I can tell, from what I saw in the video, was that it's basically kind of like in BioWare games, where you could pause the game and have the menu up and just can cycle through all the items and spells and abilities you can use, and seemingly from what it looked like, you can just take your time and choose all the attacks you want to do and who you want to do them with and stuff. So it's not entirely only real-time action, apparently.
Well, that's kind of good, because I think a lot of people were upset where it's like, oh, it's not turn-based, it's going to be too hard for me to control the game. But at least, if, like you said, if you can stop the game, kind of decide what you want to do, that's nice to have.
Yeah, that's I think a very good idea. I'm liking that very much if it turns out to work exactly like it looked like. But it really seemed like pause the game and then choose all the items or spells or whatever in all the time you need to do that, to basically bring a bit of tactics into it.
Very cool. Yeah.
Really nice.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Another really nice little detail I noticed there was every item you use has like apparently its own special animation of Noctis and what he does. Like if he chose a potion, he was just holding something, not like a vial or something that he was drinking, but just something that he crushed with his hand and healed himself.
Mm-hmm.
And when he got poisoned, there was one moment where Noctis got poisoned, and he used an antidote, and it was like a little syringe that he was jamming like into his
Oh, whoa.
like these like Metal Gear Solid 4 style syringes that you just hold to your neck and then just have this quick shot.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And that brings me to something else, actually, to the poison effect itself. The enemy, it was during the nighttime, there were like goblins running around the map.
Yeah.
And they attacked you with the poisonous attack, and you saw that it was a poisonous attack because you had like all these particle effects flying everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And the poisonous attack had like purple particle effects, like purple colored particle effects to it. Like you can apparently directly see during the attack that they give you some kind of negative status effect.
Well, that's good. Yeah, there's lots of, I don't know what you want to call it, communication to the player. Like, yeah, you are poisoned, not just a little thing in, like on a menu to the side on your HP bar. But yeah, you can like see something on the character.
Yeah, he is, when Noctis was poisoned, he was like running around, like not feeling very well, basically. Had like a purple bubble thing around his head. And what I really liked was that the attack itself already showed that it would cause poison.
Mm-hmm.
Like directly there, purple attack, okay, I know I should dodge that, or else I'm gonna get poisoned, basically. Or I could parry. This was also a quite interesting thing, because I don't really know how that works, but there's a parrying move,
Mm-hmm.
that, from what I can tell, works exactly like Metal Gear Rising.
Oh, okay. So you just kind of hit it at the right time, and then it'll bounce back or whatever.
Bounce back, and apparently, there is a counter move for everything. When
Oh, wow.
you parry, when you successfully parry, you get a button prompt for square, and you can actually counter move. And from what I could tell, the goblins were like one-hit kill during that.
Oh, geez.
Apparently, did like the like one-hit kill basically. And I get the feeling, if we want to go into speculation right now, that this is also the way these special cinematic attacks with you and your friends will go.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed a few of those. There was one where he like put up a really big sword, and then I noticed like Ignis would come in and do something, or whatever. Yeah, there were a few of those I saw in the footage. Yeah.
You remember of these trailers when you like where you kill the Iron Giant, basically the Steel Giant, when Gladiolus picks up the sword.
Yeah.
And attacks him with that. I get the feeling this is how this will work. Like you parry it, and if you counter it, and basically maybe the positioning of your friends is just right, you can do this will happen. I think. I'm not sure about that because we didn't really see that entirely, but it really felt like it.
It could be, yeah, because I was trying to imagine, like, when they had those old E3 trailers, I'm like, okay, that seems super context sensitive. They're like, okay, we beat this knight, and then we're all going to pick this sword up. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how that would work out in, like, actual gameplay. So maybe it is. Maybe it's these very special context sensitive things where you would counterattack and whatever. Now, there was one button prompt. Maybe this is explained later when they were talking about camping, but I noticed at one point, when they first started showing the gameplay of them just like running around fighting stuff, like there would be a button prompt to hit R1 every once in a while in just totally random spots. So I'm guessing like that is where you would set up your campsite or something like that if you wanted to.
No, that wasn't the campsite. I don't really know what R1 did, but the campsite was just basically a special designated spots. They light up. You can really see them, I think, even on the map itself. And it will just say, want to camp here? And then you just press X or whatever to say, yeah, I want to camp here. Then you get, right there, you get to choose the kind of food you want to make.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's, weirdly enough, something they emphasized on, that you can make food.
Uh-huh.
And that was so mean. I told you that on Twitter.
Yeah.
That once you choose the meal you're gonna make, you get a full screen close-up of the food itself, like a photograph or something.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, God damn it, you assholes! I'm hungry.
Is it like really high quality? Like it looks like real food? I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks really good. So that was really mean. Yeah, but. What other thing I noticed during camping, they showed a bit of the menus during camping. Apparently, this is the only time you can actually level up.
Yeah, so how did that work? I noticed that they talked about that in prior weeks, but did they show how that worked at all?
They didn't really show how it works, but they showed shortly. You were able to see shortly the menu itself and all of that stuff. And what I saw was just a menu on the side, on the left side. And all of your characters' names and stuff with their levels and how much XP they need to level up. And what we heard, this is the only way to like really level up, to probably just assign new skills and stuff. You could change your equipment anytime you wanted, though. That's that I think was in there.
Oh, okay.
Noctis is able to carry like 5 weapons at once.
Oh, okay.
He had like 2 long swords, 1 spear, and two spears and 1 broadsword.
Okay.
And they were different weapons. They had different levels or ranks, whatever that means. But these had a rank.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's sort of like Skyrim or something. Like the more you use it, the more you level it up, and like the more it levels up, you get different skills or something. I don't know.
Or maybe these ranks just say you can only use it at that level or something. Like a rank 12 sword can only be used by Noctis if he is level 12 or something.
That could be too. Yeah.
but they didn't elaborate on that. And even if they did, I didn't know what they were saying. It was still Japanese. There's no no translation yet.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure there will be.
Yeah, I think the demo itself will be in English. Or they'll have English voice acting, I think.
No, I meant of the video.
Oh, the video. Yeah, somebody's on that. Somebody's translating it, I'm sure.
The demo itself will be in English, of course. I
Yeah.
mean, how would you do that else? You get this demo now and then don't understand a single word.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't sure if it was just going to be Japanese with like subtitles or something like that, but usually they translate it. Yeah.
It would still be okay if they did that. I mean, I don't have anything against Japanese voice acting or something. I don't have anything against English voice acting either. But that's a whole different story.
Random question. Do they, when they translate games to German, do they typically have English voice actors with German subtitles, or do they do German voices as well?
It depends on the game itself and basically probably on the budget. But Final Fantasy usually doesn't. It has English voices and German subtitles.
Okay.
With the exception of Final Fantasy 14 now. This has German voice acting for some reason.
Oh.
Really bad German voice acting, by the way. But it's really up to the developer and publisher if they want to put money into this. So, I don't know. I hope they don't do German voice acting in it, honestly, because most of the time German voice acting in video games is pretty bad.
Okay.
Like really, really bad. Usually it's quite good, but due to localization problems and stuff like that, especially since German localizations are done simultaneously with the game itself, with the game development itself, the voice actors and such don't really have context for the scenes they are voicing.
Oh, I see.
So they don't know how to really say this because they really don't know how to say it.
Got it.
So it really sounds kind of bland and boring most of the time.
Got it. So, okay. Well, sure. So I know one thing you wanted to talk about too was just speculating on the game in general outside of just, the demo and whatnot. Yeah. So what were some things that you were noticing or some things that you wanted to kind of talk about?
Basically story stuff, especially because of your video, your retrospective. Seeing all this trailer footage back to back, like in short succession, I noticed something. It's basically one very big thing. And that is of the first trailer. Like the first real trailer we saw where Noctis is fighting all these this entire army of soldiers all by himself. And this will go this might take a while now, because one thing to remember about Final Fantasy 15 is it apparently seems to be highly inspired by Hamlet.
Right, yeah.
And especially or other Shakespeare stuff. I think I feel there is a bit of Romeo and Juliet going on in there with Noctis and Stella. Maybe if Stella still exists in the game at least. Who knows? And if this inspiration of Hamlet is true, then maybe the first trailer that we saw might actually be the end of the game. Like the very end of the game.
That's interesting. So it's sort of like his last stand. He's like, well, we're all dead, so I'm just going to go out in a blaze of glory or whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly my point, because after all of these trailers and with Noctis' friends being in the focus and stuff, I was wondering while watching this old trailer again, why is he alone in there? Why is he completely alone? And he is sitting on the throne of his father, like the throne of Lucis. So I get the feeling that over the course of the game, because another thing, Final Fantasy 15 is said to be like the darkest and edgiest Final Fantasy to date. So that might play into that. That maybe during the actual finale, like penultimate part of the game, like maybe all your friends die and your family dies, and Noctis basically loses everything, and then just decides, screw it, what else can I do? I am the king of Lucis now, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all alone, so I defend my city.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably I will die during that.
Yeah, that is an interesting point. Yeah, because very much like the whole theme is like brotherhood and hanging out with your buddies and this road trips thing. So I'm trying to think of a moment where he wouldn't be with anybody. And even when he's fighting those troops, you'd think that his friends would come and help him or something. So I'm really curious to know if that was simply just a thing made up to have a trailer, or maybe there is some kind of deeper meaning to it. It's like, yeah, maybe that's the end of the game, and I mean, time will tell what happens with that.
Yeah, but that's really something I wanted to address, because especially with the stuff of Hamlet going on and Hamlet being basically that of everybody dies pretty much, and if this is true, the inspiration, then this might be how it goes. We might not expect a happy ending to this game, basically, but this is really just a gut feeling of mine.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, I mean they've sort of hinted that they're already thinking about turning this into another, trilogy like they did with the Lightning games. So I'm wondering if,
God, please no.
well, honestly, I think that's what they're going to end up having to do, just because of how expensive games are now. They have to reuse assets, and they have an established world and characters, and I don't know if they can put out 15 and then do a 16 that's completely different. I just don't think the games are too expensive now, as sad as that is. But
yeah, maybe, but it depends. If the setting is interesting enough and if the world is big enough and stuff, then maybe it might turn out good. It never did really in the past times, like the lightning stuff and
oh yeah,
compilation of Final Fantasy VII. I hate the compilation of Final Fantasy VII, but no, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's one thing I wanted to point out that they've never really talked about, and that's it's if you watch these trailers, I don't know if I ever really pointed it out, but if you have a keen eye, they definitely show it, and that's when Noctis's eyes turn red, and there's always been this saying that it's gone along with that saying, the eyes that see the light of expiring souls, and he can see people's predict people's death or something like that before it happens. I'm not quite sure what that's.
It would also play in this theme of Hamlet, actually, of Hamlet seeing the ghost of his dead father.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That might actually be something relevant to this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I totally foresee his dad not living through the game.
Yeah, me too. He is so dead. Seriously.
Especially how the last E3 trailer, when it shows him when he's a little kid and then his dad, they have this moment together, and then there's they're storming the city, and I'm like, his dad probably died in that conflict somehow, and so
fantasy protagonist with a happy relationship with his father, please.
Yeah.
Come on, this is not lasting.
Exactly.
Not even remotely.
Exactly.
He's so dead.
So dead. And then one thing I also wanted to mention is, what do you think about this Stella Luna thing? Because Stella seemed to be a very integral part of the story up until they re-revealed it at E3 and then Tokyo Game Show months later. And they've been very ho-hum, oh, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. They've never really given a definitive answer. But in my retrospective, when I put the pictures next to each other, and I hadn't even done it up until I actually edited the video together, I'm like, wow, they look so similar. Their eyes, the way their hair is, and everything.
Just Stella with a different hairstyle, basically. Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. Maybe they just renamed Stella, or maybe with all this night theme, maybe Luna is just Stella's sister or something.
That could be.
Could be.
Yeah.
I'm really not sure what this is supposed to mean. Basically, I really have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll find out, because in the early Versus 13 trailers, it seemed like they had this really complicated relationship. They would be at this, formal event together talking, but then in the next scene it's showing them fighting each other. So it's
That's
who?
what I mentioned with the maybe some Romeo and Juliet stuff going on in there as well.
Yeah.
that they like each other, but they are not allowed to like each other, but with the added bonus that they actually have to fight each other, maybe, which is really something I would hope would happen, because if you combine that with with Hamlet, you would basically have Romeo and Juliet, in which Juliet would kind of like Ophelia go insane of all of this.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. That could be a thing. See, this is what I'm liking. It sounds like a very, it's a semi-grounded story. It's not all these like false endlessy and like really complicated things where like you have 13 days to save the world and gods, and it's just like that doesn't make any sense. This seems like more like in reality. It's like, okay, there's a crystal and this other country wants it, so they're gonna fight you for it.
It's refreshingly simple with all of this.
Oh yeah.
Saving the world kind of stuff, it's kind of becoming boring these days, I think. And just having something more personal and character based is, I mean, basically, if you look back at the other Final Fantasy games, you can basically say that you don't really remember all of the saving the world kind of stuff, but really you remember the character development and the characters themselves. This is why you play the game and are invested in the story. It's the characters that make the story, and having Final Fantasy 15 like putting this like very much upfront, yeah, I think this is like the best thing they could have done after Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, see, that's I believe this Neil Druckmann said this, who was the creative director for Naughty Dog. It's like simple story but complicated characters.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Correct.
Yeah, so like, okay, we're at war with this country. We got to get the crystal back, but all the characters seem very complicated. So, man, I'm so excited for this game. I just want it to be good, because I don't know how you grew up with Final Fantasy and JRPGs, but like still to this day, it's had some bad entries, but I still think, for me personally, Final Fantasy is my favorite game series ever. It got me into the genre. There's so many good games. There's a few bad ones, but mostly I only have good memories of it. So I just want it to be good again.
Basically, I'm about as big a JRPG fan as you are. I'm mostly, by the way, plug, I am having a YouTube channel, MrFutago87, for where I do Let's Plays, and mostly of them are of JRPGs.
Yeah, definitely check it out. Go subscribe. I'll leave a link in the description for sure.
Speak German. It's an entirely German channel, of course. But currently playing Xenogears, for example.
Oh, great game. Great game.
Yeah, great. I love it. But yeah, I have basically almost the same history with Final Fantasy, I think, as you have. I started with Final Fantasy 7. I played it with my cousins, and I remember like our jaw dropping when we finally left Midgar.
Yeah.
First time in our life we saw a world map, and like we were, holy shit, what is going on here?
The possibilities are endless. We can go wherever we want.
Yeah, this was like big magic moment, especially when you consider like 3 like teenagers, not even teenagers. I was like, when did it come out? 1997. I was 10.
Yeah, yep.
That happened. Like at that time, all the games I played was like, I don't know, the Hercules PlayStation game and Tekken 3. Tekken 3 is awesome, though. Nothing against that. But yeah, this is basically really exciting me for Final Fantasy 15, because after seeing the demo, after seeing like this gameplay footage of the demo, I really have much more confidence now. I was always like really excited about it, but I always had this thought in the back of my head, like they botched Final Fantasy 13 so much that I really was like cautious and really worried most of the time about it, if it would really deliver what it promises. But looking at Final Fantasy 15, the demo and the footage of the active time report, yeah, I can really say I'm pretty sure this will be very, very good.
Yeah, totally.
I can really. This was very reassuring, and we can see we will be able to experience that ourselves in about a month.
Yeah.
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 Like 17th in US, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 20th over here.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and that might be actually turn out to be a really good game too. So
Type 0, yeah. Yeah.
all of a sudden, it's good to be a Final Fantasy fan again. Like,
Yeah, it's been a while.
it's been a while, but it feels good. It feels really good.
Well, it's funny because I purposely avoided the 13 games because a lot of people said they were bad. But then I was like, well, I played the demo for Lightning Returns and the combat was cool. I'm like, I'll give this a chance, and so I bought it, and that is like one of like the most disappointing games I've ever played. Not because it was like, oh, it's a Final Fantasy game because it's going to be good. I even went in with like low expectations, but they just filled with boring. What's that?
It even didn't fulfill on your low expectations.
Yeah, it's unreal because it's like, well, I was expecting like, okay, it's this great combat and they're going to take me on a story. I'm going to explore all these different worlds, but it was like you don't level up normally. You have to like turn in quests and then you get HP and you get MP. You don't like fight stuff to level up, and it's a very weird system. And then on top of that, most of the quests are fetch quests, like go kill 10 wolves, go get like 5 cactuar needles or whatever.
So basically, they tried to make grinding, get rid of grinding, but basically it's the same thing.
Exactly.
Just, yeah.
And then the design is so boring. Like there was like they split it up into like 5 open zones or whatever, and each zone is just so boring. It's like a giant desert with nothing to look at, and then there's like a temple under the ground, and it's hallways, but they all look exactly the same. So it was just poor design. Combat was good. I'll give it that. Combat was great. It was really fun to like change costumes and stuff.
Combat basically is the only good thing about Lightning Returns. That's what I heard.
Yep.
I played the demo as well, and I really liked the combat too, but I could not bring myself to even remotely consider buying Lightning Returns or 13.2. After 13, no.
Yeah.
Just no.
You're doing yourself a favor, so don't. You didn't miss much.
I'm not wasting my money on that. But I will waste totally money on Final Fantasy 15. I can tell you that much.
Absolutely. I'll be there day one. So,
I'm gonna do a Let's Play. Plug.
yeah, do it. Do it.
Not just Final Fantasy 15, but it's demo and Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. Yeah.
I think Type 0 is going to... I think a lot of people are buying Type 0 for the demo, but I think that game's actually good. I remember playing the demo for the PSP version like 4 years ago, and it was fun, and now it's going to have better graphics, better camera, and apparently has a really cool story. So I think it's going to really surprise people, like when like, oh, this is actually a good game besides just having the demo.
I saw a bunch of stuff, and it basically like kind of feels like a mostly like classic PS1 Final Fantasy in some parts, not the combat of course, but like there's an actual world map to explore.
Mm-hmm.
That's already nice. I already saw a screenshot where you can also fly around in an airship.
Now, I'm not sure if it's different in the full game, but when I did that, when I played the PSP version, that's essentially a loading screen. Like you're taking an airship to a level. I could be wrong. Maybe in the full game, like once you get further along, you can take an airship and go around and do different things. But it was essentially a loading screen.
Okay, I didn't know that, but let's hope maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
They apparently changed a lot of stuff in it, so who knows?
Yeah.
But just simply the presence of a world map is already elevating this game to much higher than Final Fantasy 13, for example, could ever have been. Like, I really don't know why they took that out. Like, world maps, just why take that out?
Well, you know what's funny is, like, I remember when they were doing 13 and all these different games, and they're like, yeah, it's, HD towns are hard. I'm like, well, dude, like, level 5 schooled you guys with Ni no Kuni. Like, how could you guys have not, done something similar?
Basically, yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah.
I would just say, forget Final Fantasy 13 now. This is past us at this moment. It's over.
Yeah.
And let's just be hopeful for the future of this franchise. And I think we can be hopeful at this moment with Final Fantasy Type 0 and 15 coming out.
Yeah, I think so.
And to me, like, this is purely a gut feeling of mine, but it seemed like, for the most part, in terms of Final Fantasy, Square Enix kind of learned its lesson. At least that's what I'm feeling about it. Especially with what they said about Bravely Default, where they were so surprised by its success that they noticed, hey, the people in the Western hemisphere like JRPGs too. Who would have thought?
I know, right? Just give us good stuff. None of this, compile heart garbage. Although people like that, but I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I bought Fairy Fencer F recently.
It reminds me a lot of what was it? Mugen Souls, the same kind of thing, but
it's kind of okay. The battle system is fun, but everything else is just meh.
Yeah. I mean, we're seeing a real revival of JRPGs, which excites me. I mean, we got a new Persona, new Final Fantasy, another Bravely Default, Xenoblade, and there's probably a ton I'm forgetting, but yeah, it's a good time to be a JRPG fan.
It looks very good, by the way.
Yeah.
Really good. I know you aren't very excited about it because you don't really know what to make of it.
Yeah, a lot of the footage is just showing them like walking around in the world map. I'm like, okay, so what do you do? Is there like missions? I don't know.
You do missions about that.
Okay.
You do missions. You uncover the map. You have like things to collect, monsters to kill, and stuff like that. And like life points to find.
Okay.
Like you need to rescue humans from like basically like what's it called? Cryo suspension or something?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, they basically crash landed on this planet, and you need to collect all the humans that scattered around the world map.
Okay. That sounds a lot like Robotech sort of, because like in Robotech, an alien ship crashes and then they take the technology and make stuff. So to me,
the feeling I get is like a JRPG version combining Battlestar Galactica and Civilization Beyond Earth together.
Okay.
In some kind of way. Like you also have like enemies that like story, like humanity has an enemy there, and probably that will come into the story and stuff. But basically it's like you crash landed on this planet and you try to make a living. Like you try to survive on this planet.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I got a Wii U recently, so I'm trying to get whatever I can for it. Yeah, it's fun. I played Bayonetta 2 last night, and man, that game is really, really fun.
I played a bit of it at the moment. I need to get on that. I have such a big backlog of games.
Yeah.
And I'm actually like going through them right now.
That's always a big challenge.
Terrible. Yeah, but we're digressing a little bit here.
Sure.
15.
It's going to be fun, hopefully.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So,
one last thing, I completely forgot that was kind of funny. A moment in the demo itself when the footage was shown. At nighttime, when you fought the goblins, all of a sudden, like a squad of Niflheim army soldiers arrived there on the spot. Like in an airship, you fought these goblins, and all of a sudden you look up, and all of a sudden there's a big battleship above you, with like 1,000, like 20 soldiers coming out of it, like jumping down and fighting you, and you're getting your ass kicked by that. They are mopping the floor with the group.
oh, jeez.
So it was just so funny to see, like, you were just busy fighting these goblins, and all of a sudden, oh, hello?
Yeah, oops. Well,
yeah, that's sort of something that I noticed that it was just kind of funny.
Yeah, there's that GIF going around of that sequence, and like everybody's like, "Dang, the cloth physics!" Like when they come down, they have their flag that's flapping in the wind, and then Noctis has his code. I'm like, "Dang, man, the animation in this game is just out of this world, man."
Amazing. It looks really, really great. even though from what I heard, the demo won't be running in 1080p.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, the full game I think will probably be, but
Well, yeah.
as long as it's fun, that doesn't really matter. So
It is much more important, I think.
yeah, as long as it's smooth, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's basically everything we could talk about, I think, at this point, right?
I think so, yeah. If there's any other little tidbits you wanted to mention,
I'm asking you right now.
oh, okay.
I have everything covered what I wanted to say right now, but
Yeah, I think that was about all I wanted to say. Yeah, I just wanted to bring up the Stella and his red eyes and that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I guess we're gonna find out for ourselves in about a month. You know, if it's fun or not, and I'm sure there's gonna be lots of NeoGAF threads and discussion. So it'll be really fun to see what people think about it. But yeah, yeah,
the behemoth, how do you pronounce it?
yeah, Behemoth, yeah.
Behemoth. The behemoth section that they showed was kind of really scary.
Really?
Like seriously scary.
Huh.
Like sneaking by you try to sneak by this behemoth, and he kind of, it seems like he could smell you or something.
Oh wow.
Like this giant beast thing that it was the last thing they showed of the demo, and yeah, it was kind of unnerving, especially when you know what the behemoth can do.
Oh yeah, I mean they show in past trailers fighting it a lot, so I'll be curious to see how difficult it'll be to fight it.
I'm pretty sure at level 15 what the characters are there, pretty damn difficult. Like really difficult.
Well, I look forward to fighting it and see what that's all about. Yeah.
So yeah, I can really just recommend people, if you are curious, watch the Active Time Report. There is a video, I think there are multiple videos, of just the gameplay. It's like 43 minutes long. It's well worth it, just to see what the game can actually do, and it doesn't spoil that much, because it really just shows basic gameplay for the most part. So you can really watch it without fearing that you get spoiled too much with it, so no problems there. Just watch it if you're curious.
Yeah, definitely. Like I was thinking of avoiding it, but I think it'll get you more confident about the game because they really go into detail, and I think you can really get a sense, yeah, of what it'll play like and just how the movement's going to be and everything. So, well, I think that'll probably about do it. Yeah, thanks for coming on, Thomas. And like you said, if you want to check out his channel, I'll leave it in the link in the description. And the way in my head, I'm editing this video together. I think I'll have our Twitter handles. So if not, it'll be in the description as well. But yeah, again, thanks for coming on. It's some great insight, and I'll be curious to talk to everybody in the comments about it all and just finally get the game. Yeah, you're welcome. So, all right. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you in the comments. We'll see you next time.